Okay. I feel pretty good. Hope the background's good. There's not any paraphernalia.
A lot of heroin.
Yeah, just my fucking cases of heroin back here. Stacks. Gotta make money. Bluff Council's not paying the bills.
Never will.
Not yet. Follow us on Patreon. Not yet, though. Keith.
Very special episode.
Space Jam, a new legacy. How do you want to start this off? I'm gonna defer to you. I feel like you're the bigger Space Jam guy. Like that would be
the original.
My bet.
Yeah. Yes. Going into this episode, I thought we should do this. I feel like I was the one leading the charge. Like we got to do Space Jam. It's going to be a big deal.
Yes,
like people are.
You were.
People are going to be watching this. The first one. Saying I'm a fan of the first one, it's probably too strong, but like I enjoyed it for what it was. The first one, like I had a good time with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Product of the times. The first Space Jam was such a glimpse at like the mid '90s insanity.
Yes.
Of what culture was.
You say insanity, I say charm.
Yeah.
I mean, charm.
It has its charms for sure. And I was never like a huge fan of the original Space Jam as a kid, but I liked it. Like I was aware of it. I liked it. I probably saw it a few times when I was a kid. Movies I liked, I watched 1,000 times. So it wasn't, it's just it's on sometimes. Yeah. It's okay. I wasn't like super into team sports at that point in my life. So like I knew who Jordan was. I knew the world loved Michael Jordan. I obviously knew the Looney Tunes. So it was
that Jordan guy was fine, but that Bugs Bunny.
Oh, the Looney Tunes was a selling point. That really was the case, and remains, I think, in the newest chapter. So how are we gonna do this, Keith? Because it's
you just listen. Do you want me to tell you where I want to start?
Yeah.
And then we can start literally anywhere else. is my pure unbridled hatred for Warner Brothers Media.
If you weren't justified before, you're justified now.
This entire year has just been a barrage of garbage, of absolute garbage from one studio, from one of the biggest. Should be leading the charge. They have amazing properties, and they continue to say fuck you to any person who is excited for any one of their properties. I am blown away. I'm blown away and disgusted at the same time. I'm disgusted with Warner Brothers. I'm so sorry to say it, but I'm legitimately disgusted.
No, they've earned it. What makes it even crazier is that they are they're the studio that should be competing with Disney. Disney is this monopoly monolith that is sucking up everything and buying 20th Century Fox and the studios are collapsing. But Warner Brothers, with this great history of IP and legacy of films and everything, is the one that's trying to stand up and trying to trade blows. And I don't think they could be doing it worse.
Worse.
I think every misstep you can make, from Zack Snyder's debacle of redoing that film to have him come out later, admitting you were wrong, this new movie's not canon, to the quality of the films that we've seen this year coming from them, which have all been poor to awful.
Awful.
I would say, at best, you're like, oh, that movie was pretty shitty.
And that's
and at worst,
best case scenario.
And at worst, it's a Space Jam, a new legacy.
Yeah.
That's
so
it's really crazy.
So I'm just gonna jump right into spoilers. Did you openly weep when Bugs Bunny sacrificed himself for the good of mankind? Did you where were you emotionally for that?
I was honestly I honestly thought to myself, well, this is fucking crazy. Like, I was like, are they gonna kill off Bugs Bunny?
Ludicrous! It's fucking ludicrous!
That's all, folks.
Are they gonna kill Bugs Bunny? And then I immediately answered myself, no, of course they're not gonna kill Bugs Bunny. So then I thought, how are they gonna walk back from it? How are they gonna correct this? And the answer was, it didn't matter. It wasn't a real thing.
I felt like that scene was the epitome of Warner Brothers it doesn't matter. It's just, who gives a shit? We're gonna take this kid's movie and make it as dark as it possibly can get, and then 2 minutes later be like, just kidding. Just whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's a fucking Looney Tune. Like, I was in awe. I was just in awe of everything. The question I have, really the one question I have for you, and this is a legitimate question, is who do you think this movie is for? Like, this studio says, okay, we're making this for who? Who is the audience for this film?
There is no audience. I assume that if you were 10 years old and you love LeBron James, you like this movie. That's my only guess. My only guess.
You legitimately, honestly, in your soul, believe that if you just like LeBron James, you will enjoy this film.
Oh, that's my favorite.
You are a child.
And a child.
Who is perhaps lower than average IQ.
So you have to be, 12 years old and like LeBron James?
Yeah. Kids are idiots, as a general statement. And there's goofy comedy, and there's the basketball player that you love. Great. Like, that's probably enough for your stupid kids. Not your guys'.
Your kids are infallible.
Yeah, your kids are little miracles. They're so cute and smart and brilliant.
It's those other assholes that we gotta.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I honestly don't know. I can't name a redeemable. I can't name a redeemable part of the film. I can't.
I think it's in the running for the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm confident. I'm confident. I don't say that lightly. Like I say, like Mortal Kombat is like one of the worst movies I've seen. It is. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But like, this movie is worse.
Yeah.
This movie is comfortably worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I would have never thought I would say that. I think this movie is joyless.
Yep.
It is completely incomprehensible. Like in every actual like. I know you're not going to a Space Jam: A New Legacy hoping for like in-depth story and realistic thing, but all the things you need from a Space Jam sequel are not here. None of them are here. There is really hardly any fun. There are really like disappointing, not very frequent cameos. Like I thought, if nothing else, there's just going to be cool, famous people showing up. I'm going to jump around. A week or two ago, I checked out the original Space Jam. Haven't seen it in 20 years. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched maybe the first half. And it was stupid. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is stupid. But the thing I was surprised that I didn't remember was like, every basketball player in the NBA shows up. There are a ton of cameos. Like Vlade Divac and the whole Lakers are like in the locker room talking about, we're not going to go out there and play. Who knows what's going on with this disease? It's sucking everybody's talents out. They're shooting at NBA games. You can tell, like I was like surprised, like Barkley's out there, and in a movie like Mike, another NBA movie, they'll just use extras out of focus in the background. But this movie looked like Tom Chambers was out there. It looks like it was the actual lineups of the teams. Yeah. And I thought, wow, what a big sign off the NBA had to do all that. But it was more a celebration of basketball. This was 1A, a celebration of Warner Brothers, and 1B, a celebration of LeBron James. And it was just so narrow. It was like, we're projecting here, we're gonna jump the gun on our LeBron hate, but it felt so like LeBron, if we're gonna do this, it's about me, it's an isolated world. None of the movie, hardly any of it, took place in the real world, where that's why I think the Space Jam original kind of worked, because you were jumping back and forth between the real world, which had genuinely funny people like Bill Murray and Wayne Knight.
It is alive!
And cameos by Larry Bird, and it was kind of like, that was my favorite scene, was that golfing gambling chat was like, in the first, it was hilarious.
Larry's not white. Larry's clear.
It's like, these are kind of adult jokes. Bill Murray's, none of that was here. It was just LeBron goes into a computer, and now there's a bunch of extras dressed up like Batman and the Joker in the background, and
First of all, I must say, I thought that was very well articulated about what the issues were of that film.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I hate to say it, but I agree. I agree with everything you said. I thought it was well said. I just think there's no semblance of there's no semblance of a story, but it's even like bigger than that. I feel it's just like nothing made sense. Like nothing made sense about anything. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm gonna sound like a moron because I'm baffled by what I saw to be able to like, really dig into it or dissect it and kind of think about what like. Honestly, what I was thinking about, I said, wow, how ironic is like the villain to be like an algorithm when I feel like that is what wrote the film. I felt like they ran the numbers on a computer and they said, okay, kids like this, we're gonna do this. The people who like the first one are this old and they might like a Notorious Pig reference. They may understand
comedy.
that. Yeah, they may understand that. They may. We're gonna have Granny in the Matrix. We're gonna do these.
Yeah, what?
I just feel like they ran it through a computer. They crunched the numbers and said, "This is what this film is gonna be." It was written by an algorithm. And there's like 30 writers on it, which to me is already like, well, there's a red flag. There's 15 different people who have writing credits on it. But I just feel like I almost feel like the movie that they were pitching, the thing that they were pitching to LeBron in the film was what they were doing.
Yeah, well, but I think they are aware of that, and they think that's like a self-aware nod.
To what?
Like that's like it's like, oh, he's sitting in the conference room, he's saying, athletes acting never works out. Here's what we're gonna do, LeBron. We're gonna put you in with all the WB classic IP. It's gonna be great. And he's like, that sounds terrible. That's the worst idea I've ever heard. So I think it thinks it's being clever by setting you up to be like, we know this is stupid, but we're all in on the joke. But like, there is no joke.
There's no joke.
They never make it good. None of the bits are enjoyable. Like it's a miss. It's misses all around.
LeBron missed! LeBron missed!
And then it just flames out spectacularly. And it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Like isn't it like 2 hours something long?
Yeah, it's 2 hours plus, which I was
absurd.
Like, it's absurd. I was like, this movie should be 85 minutes. Movie should be in and out. In and out.
It was that basketball game at the end was like watching a real basketball game.
I was gonna say, I watched it took me 3 times to get through it. It took me three times to get through it. By the second time, I just started the basketball game. I was like, and there's an hour and 10 minutes left? Like, this is an NBA game. What are we doing?
Yeah. And I felt like, I'm not just trying to even just be like a hater. I feel like if someone who might like this movie or pretend to like this movie because they're trying to fucking get LeBron James clout or something, I don't even know. I see people on Twitter like, movie's a great time. You don't take it too seriously. You sit back, enjoy the cameos, enjoy LeBron.
What kind of cameos are there? There's one. I feel like there's one cameo.
No, you got like Stephen Yeun and Sarah Silverman at the beginning, but they tell like no jokes. It was like, this is what I thought. Okay, I thought, the bar was so low for me going in. I thought, I know I'm not going to like this movie. I don't really care for LeBron James. I'm not a child. Like, I'm not going to love this film. Like, that's what I thought. But I thought, what will be cool is there will be some, like, the self-aware, fun jokes. The Looney Tunes humor, like, is okay in small doses. Haven't seen them in a long time. So they often put little clever lines in. I thought there's going to be a ton of cameos that are going to make it fun, and there'll just be like cool pop culture stuff to be like, oh yeah, that's cool, nice, that's funny, remembered that. I figured that I'd have like 7 moments in the film that I was like, haha, cool. And none of that was there. The fact that like, I don't know. I'm teasing to like blame LeBron, but like, it feels like such an ego trip by whomever to be like, we're not gonna have anybody from the first one. And maybe they couldn't get him. I'm sure Bill Murray's not chomping at the bit to show up in this film.
Yeah,
but to not have Michael Jordan show up.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to show up. Like, there's no way. Like, I guarantee LeBron was like, no way Jordan's in my movie.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, is like, that's all the more reason to be mad. Like, there was none of the only thing that made me happy was the Rick and Morty cameo. Because I love Rick and Morty, and it was a nice, I'm an adult, and it was like, oh shit, Rick and Morty, cool. Although that brings up a whole nother subject that we can touch on later.
I really go back to like your point about the lack of basketball. This movie had nothing to do with like Space Jam, the original. Like it had like if this should have just been a different movie. This should have just been
it's not even space.
Right.
It's not even space.
It's not even space. They can't even get that part right. Like it's not. It's it's LeBron James gets stuck in a video game. Like that. Like they don't, because what they play is not basketball. Like what they do is not basketball. It's NBA Jam. It's not. And you know what I was really disappointed about? The lack of like you have all those other superstars in the film, the Goon Squad or whatever. They're not in the film.
No.
They have nothing to.
It's like a 20-second scene that you see Klay Thompson, who I was obviously excited for, and then they never show up again. They're just computers.
But they have no place within the film. They're just like, you don't. The bar is so low, but at least the first film does its due diligence to set up the NBA at that time.
Yeah.
And the players who are good and seeing them playing real NBA basketball. And like the reason why Michael Jordan doesn't get abducted is because that's when he retired. Like it just check the boxes of like things that just make sense in terms of story structure and like
even
going
if it's
along.
the bare minimum.
Yeah,
they still did it.
Bare minimum. And this does nothing. It does nothing. It does nothing. And the few things that it has, it squanders. It squanders every opportunity it has to be like cool and fun and like inside. I just don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. I wish I had better takes.
If LeBron James is going to use his star power and his NBA power, which is considerable as we all know, like to get this movie made, legacy of Michael Jordan, like it should feel like everybody's coming together to be a part of this party. And it's the exact opposite of that. It feels like LeBron is pushing people away to be like, look at me, get paid. Like that's just what it feels like. One of the worst things I thought, which I thought was hilarious, there's so many bad things to talk about, but like the main thing that I think they tried to do was give LeBron this arc, right? Real shoddy. If they tried anything, it was to have this arc of like, he's a demanding father. And boy, he didn't get any free time, so now he's not giving his kids any free time. You want to be great, you gotta sacrifice. Put those little video games away. Da, 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 da. Like shitty. But he's such an asshole. Like in that first scene where he comes out and the kids are on the court playing outside, he's like a total dick.
Are we quitting on each other now? Can't be great without putting in work.
Like he's like totally like, get back, what are you doing? You want to be great? It's like, Jesus, Dad, like pump the brakes. But then his arc is supposed to be he learns to like trust his son and listen to his son. And this, I couldn't fucking believe this, is then it gets to the climax of the game where they're like, they forgive each other, the kid comes onto his team, and then he's like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna lose, the world's gonna end, we're gonna be trapped here. And he's like, well, we gotta do that move. Gotta do the glitch move. You go, doot, back, step back. And the kid's like, no, Dad, we can't do that because like you won't come back. And he's like, no, we gotta try it. And the kid's like,
no, Dad, you'll be deleted. It's
I'm not a video game character. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, you don't know that. I've done the calculation.
Tom.
And he goes like, I'm gonna do it. And it's like, so his whole arc was learning to trust and listen to his son. And they just had that moment 30 seconds ago where they were like,
but I guess I would have known that if I'd have listened more. Sorry I didn't.
We trust each other. I'm going to listen to you now. And he says, Dad, you can't do this. He goes, fuck you, son. like I'm going to be the hero.
I've done the calculation.
Tom, somebody's got to do something.
And I just thought like, okay, we're just, There's none of the 10 writers thought like, oh, that kind of cuts the legs out of the whole theme we're doing here.
The thinnest of veiled our story arcs.
Yeah, that's the only thing we got.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall and be in the room where they pitch this to LeBron James and he says, yes. Like, what about this makes LeBron James even look good? He's a shitty father, but
Yeah.
you think he needs money? You think he needs Space Jam? Of course not. So
I think
what is
he wants money.
doing? Sure, but then
And he wants to be a Hollywood star. That's his next life. That's why he wanted to come to LA.
The man can do anything. He can do
Can act.
I mean, no, he has every door is open for him, and he chooses this door, the door that
Yeah, he
makes
wants
him
to be
look
a
like a
star.
shitty father. the door that just I can't, like, he does goofy shit to make him look dumb occasionally, or he's a bad father. Like, and it's not even basketball. Like, it's not even like he looks cool and has like sick moves or whatever. Like, it makes him look bad, and it exposes him as an actor. Like, he's a horrible. You and I are better actors than LeBron James.
Oh,
like
I'm insulted you even brought that up like that was in question.
like nothing, because he like tries to get emotional. There's times where he like really tries to like emote, be like, son.
Do you understand how much I love you? Do you understand how important you are to me?
Like, it's comically bad. Comically bad. Like, none of this makes him look good. I don't understand. With you and I, who have worked with so many athletes in our career, what's their number one thing? What's their number one fear?
Don't make me look bad.
Don't make me look bad.
Don't make me look stupid.
Don't make me look stupid, or don't make me look gay. I've heard that a lot. I don't agree with it.
A couple slurs.
I don't condone it. These are things I've heard. The most common thing you hear: don't make me look bad. Don't make me look stupid. Don't make me look stupid. That's all this does. It's all it does.
Okay. So one, about LeBron's acting, I just want to say the thing he does the worst, which I don't know how this is possible, is his worst acting is when he is pretending to be happy, which is like all the more evidence of his joyless nature and how like zero charisma and charm he has on screen. Because like when he tries to smile, like honestly, it's like, I'm proud of you, son. And he's like, he looks like, it's like he's forcing it. Like, like he's angry, like he's dead behind the eyes. I can't, I've never seen anyone struggle to smile genuinely as much as LeBron James does. And then the other thing is, here's what LeBron James thinks he gets out of it, right? This is what LeBron James and Maverick Carter and all his people say they get out of it. Is one, maybe most importantly, you were the only other person besides Michael Jordan who starred in a Space Jam movie. This is now, to anyone who's in doubt, heir apparent, is you and Jordan. That's it. Short list. 2, you make a shit ton of money. 3, you move to Los Angeles for the final act of your career because you're now producing films, you're now producing The Shop, and you want to have a future in movies yourself. This is an easy layup to get into a role that's smooth and built for you. You can show your chops, you can have a good time, you appeal to the family. This is what they're telling him. I'm sure LeBron James doesn't think he's the worst actor in the world, which I'm sorry, LeBron, you are.
He is.
He thinks he can, they probably sold him, it's good for your image, man. Like, LeBron James, family guy, like you're in people's households all around. Look at the reach we have with HBO Max. Everybody everywhere is gonna see this, like, etc., etc., etc. It's like, oh, so now LeBron thinks he's gonna get offered like the next big drama because, like, oh yeah, that's LeBron.
Space Jam. I just feel like all of that, maybe 90% of that, you could say that about anything. Warner could come to him with any movie idea. Like, there's no door that is closed to him. It's just like, hey.
Yeah, but you got to ease in, because most general audiences aren't going to just jump into LeBron in a period piece. You know, like you got to be able to say, like, oh, LeBron, yeah, he eased. It's like The Rock. The Rock did some kind of cheese guy action movies to start before you get the big deals, because you know, you
Yeah.
gotta wear off the flavor of LeBron James as a basketball player and turn that into an actor, so
Sure.
that people can go in 5 years and see a big movie with LeBron.
He
that they're, like, not
cannot
thinking
be
about.
like you're right. You're probably right. It's a transition period. It's a layup, pun intended. But no one can see this and be like, all right, now, next movie. Like what?
No,
like
but
what
the
is he
people
do?
that are gonna see it, the people who see it are Warner Brothers. Like he's gonna be like the star of a DC superhero movie within like 2 or 3 years, because they're gonna be like, Space Jam streamed 100 million houses in the first weekend. Like, that's numbers. People want to see LeBron, and they're literally going to keep their fucking algorithm going. Hopefully not played by Don Cheadle next time, who was also terrible. Like, all bad.
I think
all
he did his
bad.
best. He did his best. I'm not saying he was good, but I think
Well,
he
I mean,
did his best with what he
I
had.
know, but he was trying real hard, which is kind of, I like Don Cheadle a lot.
I
He
like
is-
Don
he's
Cheadle
in
too.
Boogie Nights, which is my favorite movie of all time, and when he is in the right role, he is effing excellent. But he's kind of a try-hard, and he likes to choose roles that are going to make him seem kind of cool, and I always didn't like that about him as an actor. He seems like a great guy, but like, this is miscast. Like, he should not be playing this role. This role should be some.
Who should?
It should have been like Lil Rel. Like, you got Lil Rel anyways. Like, I'd put someone like that with that kind of energy.
So more like
as
goofy,
that-
like more comedic.
Yeah, more goofy.
'Cause he plays it
Don
pretty
Cheadle
straight.
Is just like,
It is my game now.
Don Cheadle is not convincing. I also thought, just like, between Don Cheadle and everybody else, everyone's saying like outdated catchphrases from like 2012. Like, I feel like there was we were a year removed from someone saying "talk to the hand" like non-ironically.
Yeah. There was no. That's why I asked, like, who's this movie for? Like, it tried to be current, but all of its references, like, they did an MC Hammer reference. They did an MC Hammer reference. Who is this movie for?
Because it's like, even adults that get that aren't going to think that's funny because MC Hammer, those jokes haven't been funny since 1998.
Yeah, like it's. Who is this movie for? Tell me. I want answers. Like, I want that they think that this joke is gonna land with what, like.
The stockholders. That's who it's for.
There's so many references. It's like, talk about like the tone being all over the place and just.
It was hard to watch.
It's
and like, I would have
hard
turned
to
it off
watch.
many times if we didn't have to do this show. But like, Monique and I watched it, and we honestly just sat there. The only time we got excited, like I said, was Rick and Morty. But like, other than that, we just literally like, it was just like stone-faced the whole time, like deep sighs, and like just occasionally looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like, they thought that was funny. They tried. They were trying. That was funny. Like, I just. And then you get bigger picture into like the Warner Brothers-ness of like just trying to flex, like the corporatization
Well,
of how awful this movie is, because it's just a product.
Yeah, it's a commercial. It's a
commercial.
It's a 2-hour commercial of fucking Warner Brothers.
But not even well done, because it's just fucking extras out of focus. Like, that doesn't impress me. Like, you want to impress me, you have to have Joaquin Phoenix walk by as the Joker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the shit where you're like, yeah, Warner Brothers does have stuff. But if it's just some bland nobody, like the fucking wearing whatever, that doesn't do it, guys. That doesn't do it.
But it's even like not just the game itself, like the whole finding the characters in different Warner Brothers movies, like everything was a reference to some other IP. Like,
Yeah.
everything was another reference to some other IP that Warner has, and how cool it is.
I think that can work if you do it well and there's funny jokes within. And like, if you go into the Matrix world, you need to have Keanu Reeves in a 10-second cameo.
Yeah.
So just say whoa.
Or Lawrence
Keanu,
Fishburne.
show up one
Like,
day.
one
say
of somebody.
whoa when Porky Pig runs by. Like, you have to do that stuff. And this movie was like a blatant corporate, shitty, soulless cash grab, but they didn't even put the effort into it to make it like enjoyable at all. Yeah. And that's the trade-off. It's like, you can sit and laugh and be like, yeah, Warner Brothers just fucking patronizing the shit out of us, whatever. At least it's funny. There's no fun.
No.
There's zero fun.
No. Yeah. Yeah. They missed every opportunity they could have had with all the fun stuff they could have done with all the shit that they own. Like, because they own a ton of cool things that people are interested in and still like.
Like, how does Charles Barkley never walk by and go, whoa, not this again, and walk off? Like, just literally that kind of stuff. Like, the easiest shit in the world.
Yeah.
You got Ernie Johnson showing up. You can't get the rest of those guys for fucking 10 seconds. Like, the whole movie should be cameos. Like, honestly, that's what people want to see.
But they tried to do that just but save the money for getting the people that like you associate with those roles. Like, I was pissed that they did all the DC stuff as cartoons, and not one person said a word because they don't want to pay the voice actors. It was just like, we're just gonna use the titles. We're gonna use the titles.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
it.
So shitty and cheap.
Yeah,
it's so
just
cheap.
We spent all the money on the graphics of the basketball game.
Yeah. LeBron and his friends got paid, and that was literally, I bet, it, and that was probably part of the deal. It's just like, well, whatever, it'll be easy. The whole thing will be on a blue screen. We're not going to shoot anything in the real world, but for two scenes at the beginning of the movie, like, everything else will be fake. We'll shoot it all on the Warner Brothers lot. Like, it's just a self-contained piece of shit.
2 weeks to shoot that film? Like, how it's just what a it's
I was thinking as I watched LeBron's like just fucking awful performance, just his awful, timelessly bad performance, and I thought I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that moment to watch like the director, like, because I bet LeBron has like a 3-take rule, you know, like I'll do it 3 times. And I just wish I could watch that director at any one of his line readings, literally any line, because not a one was good.
No.
And I'd love to see what the director, when he was like, got it.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Nailed that one, LeBron.
Setbacks happen. Adversity is a part of the process, man.
Yep, perfect.
I don't even know if I'm saying this right.
Do one more just like that? Oh, yeah.
Do you think he was like, killing it, LeBron? What the fuck are we gonna do? Or do you think he was like, great, and he believed it? Or does he turn to somebody else and be like,
I feel like
this is my last
know.
film?
Like, these people have to know. People who make movies know what's bad sometimes. I don't know. Like, Michael Jordan's not a great actor. You watch that first Space Jam, there's a lot of like eye roll moments.
Of course.
But I feel like Jordan could like trip his way into one kind of cool delivery out of every 12 or 15 lines. That's what I saw when I rewatched it. It was like him interacting with his family, whatever. He'd say one line and be like, he nailed that one. Like, and then he says 10 that are terrible.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time, and I wanted to watch it before this. I just didn't have time. But I don't remember, and since you've watched it recently, I don't remember Jordan overreaching. Like, he played it pretty safe. I think he just showed up, he said his lines, he maybe tried to tell a joke, and that was it. So, which is fine. That's like, be a vehicle for this. Like, just let me be, just be in wonder that Michael Jordan is doing this. But like LeBron tried to cry. He tried to cry. He tried to tell jokes. He tried to be like super goofy and silly, where his face gets smashed. It's like, meh. He's a cartoon. Like, he did everything, and you're exposed. Like, you're just exposed for being shitty at all of those things. Like,
he's surrounded by people that are going to tell him he did a great job. So it's almost not even his fault at that point. Because it's like no one on that set, since this is a LeBron James device, no one's going to say, hey, LeBron, you're not doing very
You're not doing this. Like, this is bad.
Yeah. No one is going to say that, even his closest friends. So he probably had no idea that he might still not have an idea that it's like really bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Terrible segue, but another point I wanted to make of something that bothered me. It's like, I wouldn't have to get too far down into the fucking woke cancel culture subject that we always try to avoid, but like, no Pepe Le Pew.
I was actually going to say this. I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
But Rick and Morty are in it.
Fuck you, God! Not today, bitch!
The clown from It, Pennywise, is in it, who murders children. And then the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange, whose most famous, horrifically memorable scene is them gang raping a woman in her house. Those people can be funny little shout-outs. But Pepe Le Pew can't even fucking walk by. like I know I shouldn't care, but it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just proof of like what's offensive right now. It's just more of the algorithm, you know? What does the algorithm say?
I was gonna say, like, and I asked this question generally. I'm not trying to be funny, but I can't help but be like, well, if this is okay, why isn't this okay? Or if this is bad, why isn't this bad? How is Speedy Gonzalez okay?
Oh, well, don't get me started on Speedy. Speedy's beloved. As a half Mexican, I can speak for half the Mexicans in the world. And we love Speedy Gonzalez.
Seriously, though? Like, and again, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, he's beloved by the Latino community.
Really?
As a general statement.
But is he not just a walking stereotype? With the voice alone is I feel like cringeworthy in today's world. And he's...
but that's kind of racist, too. You gotta be careful. Because then it's like, a guy who sounds like a stereotypical Mexican is now offensive. You know what I mean? Like, this is the circle jerk of contradiction that you get into when you start...
I personally don't give a shit. I just try and think on behalf of everyone else telling me what's okay or what's not okay. So, like, could you pick another ethnicity? Like, could you have an Asian person with broken English? Like, that be the whole shtick? Is it that he shoots guns and drinks tequila and
well, it would help. It helps
broken
that he's
accent?
a classic character. It helps that he's a classic character, one. It helps that he was not... Speedy Gonzalez was, like, cool. He wasn't, like, the foil. You know, he wasn't Wile E. Coyote getting fucked up. He was, like, the hero in all of his bits. And he's voiced by a Latino dude. I think in this one, he's the big heavyset dude, the comedian. The guy that always talks about being fluffy.
Gabriel Iglesias?
Yeah. I'm like 98% sure he voiced him. And so it's like, you know, he's a hero. He's an animated hero. Saturday morning cartoons in the 50s and 60s. Speedy Gonzalez comes on. I can say from experience that I'm watching it at my cousin's house on one side of my family. People getting fired up. It's like, yeah, Speedy.
Yeah, I personally don't have a problem. I just don't. I would think that someone would look at that and be like, "That's offensive. That's what you think all Mexicans are." Or like
plenty of people do.
Yeah.
Is there a term besides Mexican that you prefer? Something less offensive?
Someone's always mad. So like, there's no sense in searching for logic in that. And this, I think, pertains to almost everything on this subject.
Yeah.
Is if you try to be like, well, if this, then just tell me what's right and what's wrong. There is no consensus.
Yeah.
and none of it makes sense, and none of it is consistent.
Yeah.
So
that's all I want, though. All I want is someone to just tell. Like, I'll play along. I'll play along. I want to be a nice person. I want to treat people with respect. Just tell me what's okay and what's not okay. Just tell me, and I'll just
don't
I'll
be
do
nice
that.
and treat no one with respect. And that's the only way we can get through in this world.
Okay.
Andale. It's my boy. I love Speedy.
Is there anything you liked? Is there literally
Honestly,
anything
no.
that you liked? That you laughed, that you chuckled?
I chuckled. I thought the funniest line in the movie, I didn't like that Michael Jordan did not show up, but I did like that the whole part with Michael B. Jordan, I thought he was funny. And I thought the funniest line of the movie was,
We couldn't get Michael A. Jordan, so we got Michael B. Jordan?
I thought that was a funny line. And that was like the Looney Tunes humor that can be like, ha, that's kind of funny. But that was it. The Rick and Morty cameo and Michael B. Jordan's 30 seconds where he starts doing the Friday Night Lights speech because he doesn't know what else to say. That's funny. That's the kind of shit that should have been throughout.
Yeah. I did like the Michael B. Jordan part. I thought that's clever because I was like, Jordan's not coming in. So I thought that was funny. And I don't know why I thought it was funny, but I did chuckle when they started turning into the 3D characters instead of the two-dimensional characters. And Daffy Duck says,
I look expensive.
I thought that just like made me chuckle. I was like, this is a lot of money. That was like a self-aware line that I thought was...
No, they had some quips. Yeah. Daffy Duck had a couple of lines that was like, huh.
Yeah.
Like,
he was,
and that's all I want. That's what I thought the movie would be.
Yeah.
Lots of little, and then, oh wow, that person's there. That's funny. Like that's it. None of it.
None of it.